Listen.
Boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy, indeed.
Boy, oh boy.
Back with another 1Upsmanship.
That's going to be our new theme song.
You were supposed to join me with the fifth
I was
harmonic.
Yeah, I fucked that up.
We practiced all day.
We really did. There was also a dance routine.
Yeah.
None of us.
Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Adam Ganser.
Oh, this is Adam Ganser, who surprised me by manifesting. I'm Michael Swaim, and we're your hosts for 1Upsmanship. This week, we're discussing something that brings a smile to my face.
You have so much joy in your heart right now.
Just thinking about it,
Yeah.
just remembering popping that CD in. And
Yeah, your eyes are smiling looking
hearing
at
the
it.
sound as it went like, you know, it's spinning up, and you're about to be spinning up to blast through some TVs that spit coins out because we're covering Sonic CD.
Wow.
Our first Sonic the Hedgehog game.
So how many Sonics, just disclose this. How many Sonics have you and I played together now?
We played through Sonic 2, is that correct?
We played a few levels, 4 or 5 levels.
We played through Sonic CD together.
We played through a little bit of Sonic 1 also.
We played a little, and I played the shit out of Sonic Mania, but I don't know if I ever forced it on you.
I don't think you and I played that.
Okay.
So in the time that we started this podcast when I was a Sonic agnostic, I have now done my research into
Sonitarian.
Sonic. Yeah. Now I'm a Sonictarian, exactly.
And wiser people than I and you probably would be covering Sonic 2. So I think we have to mention that is considered the definitive Sonic.
I think we can
And
say
you haven't
that-
played Sonic and Knuckles. Is that true? All right.
No.
So that puts you at a disadvantage, Knuckles echidna-wise, but...
Fair enough. I think that we can say that this Sonic CD episode is probably going to be our most definitive take on Sonic, at least as a 2D platformer, right? Like the 3D component we're not
I
gonna
could
talk
see
too
us
much about.
covering Sonic Mania or Sonic 2 someday,
Okay.
but this is definitely where hopefully we'll take the heart out of the Sonic issue,
I
cover
agree.
most of the ground, as
Yeah.
Sonic himself would, because I don't know if you know this, Adam, from like playing, but he runs so fast.
He runs fast sometimes.
He covers so much ground.
Sometimes.
Look,
Sometimes.
I can't be here to respond to accusations that tiny lips in the ground make him stop dead and you have to completely restart running again from scratch. But
Sonic, this is going to be the real race, is whether he will outpace the legitimate criticisms of the Sonic series. Not entirely, but I'm going to level some at them because I've played them now.
It's true. It's going to be contentious. So here
Yeah.
comes Race Wars. On this episode of
Race
1Upsmanship,
Wars.
we pass our first checkpoint and get right into, I forget what it's called because we've been making the guests do it.
The
Speed
rants.
run.
Oh yeah, speedrun. That's right. Oh shit, I better pull up some facts.
Yeah, because we've had guests so frequently lately. Neither of us have done a speed run in a while. We might be a little rusty. And this level is the shitty chemical zone one where you're trapped underwater for long periods of time. So we better make it fast.
Yeah, that's otherwise you run out of air. The
Who wants to
sound that
take
you
it?
make when you die underwater.
Featured in this podcast
Real
every
weird.
episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. You want to do it or you want me to?
You pulled up facts. Does that mean you want to do it?
I'll give it a shot if you want me to.
All right. Starting the clock. Climb the aggro crag, my friend.
Here we go. Sonic the Hedgehog CD is a 1993
Compact disc.
side-scrolling platform game. It's commonly called Sonic CD. It's the third or fourth, something like that, in the series of Sonic. The first one being made a mere 2 years earlier. So, like, pretty quick sequel here.
Sonic's a fast guy.
He really is, yeah. They produce them at a very quick rate. The plot here is not too different from most Sonics. The Doctor, I think at this point he's named Robotnik. In previous ones he was named Eggman. Has kidnapped woodland creatures and trapped them in robots and made robots of them. And, right?
Actually, in Sonic CD, he has trapped seeds that grow into plants when you free them.
Oh, this time it's plants.
In previous Sonic games, it's been woodland creatures. All credibility shot, but please continue.
He's also got a Mecha Sonic on board this time that you will have one level against. I believe you're still being accompanied by Tails in this game. Is that correct? Is Tails
Yes,
still
you
in this
are.
game? Yeah.
Yep.
Tails was an addition to Sonic 2. Essentially,
He's mildly controllable if you pick up the second controller, but not really.
Yeah. They fixed that in future incarnations.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, Sonic CD is often referred to as one of or the best in the Sonic series from a 2D platform point of view. I believe that is an accurate description. It sold over 1.5 million copies. It's the best-selling game on Sega CD, which ultimately was a failed edition. I think it's...
Weren't they all?
Yeah, I think that you can best describe this as the fastest and most complex of the Sonic 2D platformers. Correct?
Definitely, because
Yeah.
it adds future and past, which means every level is 3 levels.
And I think that is a cool idea, and that's another fun one in this game.
Yeah.
That's probably it for the speedrun.
Stop the clock. What do you get when you climb the aggro crag? Was it just a piece of the aggro crag?
I think that's right.
That's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
All right, but you got it.
I didn't get a Chaos Emerald? That's what I was going for
Eat
here.
your almonds over there. I'll buy you some chew time. That takes us past our second checkpoint and into the rants portion, I believe, as player 2 or Miles Tails per hour.
We need to talk about that.
Oh, that it's a pun on miles per hour, which took me like a decade.
It's
to
not even
get.
just that. Well, keep going.
It's time for the rant. So I believe I'm first up as player 2. And my rant about Sonic CD is that it's one of my fondest childhood memories, so obviously I'm biased in that sense. As an adult playing back through all the Sonic games, I do recognize Sonic 2 as having superior level design and more gameplay. But as a 6th grader who likes to draw things, Mecha Sonic, it was something new to draw after you had already drawn Sonic and Tails and Knuckles infinite times.
I love this.
And realized that Knuckles is the same as Sonic to draw, but with mild changes to his hair and Knuckles. Mecha Sonic was a real big opportunity for all the people who like to draw in 6th grade instead of recess. And just the idea, again, this is the Sonic game that introduced not only every level can be experienced in the present, past, and future, and the future sort of implies that Eggman has taken over and is dystopian, which is kind of cool. It also has the level called Workbench where gravity is reversed, and there are a couple other things, but I just feel like they played with the levels a lot, which I enjoyed very much. Playing through it as an adult, it's so much shorter than I remembered because I'm better at video games. But also by our modern standards, it's unforgivably short.
How long did we spend playing it, you and I?
Maybe 6 hours.
No.
Less?
2 or 3.
All
That's
right.
how long.
I think the fastest I ever beat a game was Yoshi's Island, which was about an hour even.
Bummer.
And we took it back to Blockbuster and complained about the rental price. That's how ripped off we felt.
And they're like, Kick Rocks Kid. Make sure you rewind your video games or whatever.
And I'm like, this Blockbuster is going nowhere, man. And he's like, Blockbuster will never die.
Netflix. Yeah, right, buddy. Get the fuck out of here.
So yeah, I guess that's my rant because I'm just excited about Game On. But let's give it over to player 1 for his rant.
Okay, so I'm gonna do some criticizing of Sonic as a franchise, but I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it in this rant. The things that are unique to Sonic CD to me is that this game, I see it as the most creatively fulfilled version of what Sonic is, which is ultimately a pinball machine. Sonic is ultimately pinball. That's when it's at its best. It's pinball.
I know you haven't played it, so this is unfair, but
sure,
a true Sonic fan, I think, would have to argue that the most realized version of Sonic as pinball is the Sonic pinball game Sonic Spinball, which was amazing.
And I bet it is. And I don't think that it being exactly pinball makes it the most Sonic. You know what I mean? Like, I
but
think
it's
those
interesting
are
that at
distinct
one
things.
point, Sega all sat down and thought, let's make a pinball game. That's what he's perfect for.
I mean, everything about the presentation of Sonic suggests pinball. Like it's clearly ingratiated to that. And I really like that. I like that Sonic is a kind of transitional form between an old form of arcade entertainment and the 2D, character-based world that they were living in at that time.
Especially Casino Zone. You're bouncing off shit, getting points, going on the slot machine.
And that's fucking cool. And unique to Sonic. It's a thing only Sonic can do. Even Mario can't do that. You know what I mean? And that's awesome. I really like that about it. I think the fact that it created a reason to replay levels is a great addition to the Sonic franchise, but also I think they used it to justify the game being too short.
Because let's be honest, we didn't replay the levels.
We're not gonna. I'm not gonna. I'll never play that game again.
We saw a smattering of present, past, and future as we navigated the game, and we're like, I get it.
Yeah, I get it. Right? I mean, but like if I was a kid, I would think this game was amazing. You know, like I get that. Yeah, in general, I think that this game was the easiest of the Sonic games to play. Meaning the game didn't get in my way, which Sonic games often do. Sonic usually gets in its own way. Not as much in this game, and that was fun. I maintain that the things that are iconic about Sonic were not created in this game. They were just more fully explored. And it's a real shame for Sega's history that this game came out on the on the CD drive, because it just meant very few people got to play it in its original time. And that's a shame, because I do think that it's like in the way that Super Mario World is like the most Mario, this is the most Sonic. And that's a good thing.
All right. A good game on.
Yeah.
We'll choke down some chili dogs and keep on going.
So.
Oh, no. Don't bring up the chili dog thing.
You just brought it up yourself.
I brought it up as canon. Now you're going to blow it up as not real canon, which is accurate.
That's the thing, right? It's like, do you consider the Mario Brothers TV show canon to the Mario series?
No, nor do I consider the Tom Kenny voiced Sonic canon, because it was too silly. But I do consider the anime Sonic cartoon that came out at the same time that was really dark and gritty canon.
I've seen bits of that because you and I have talked about it. I've looked into Sonic a lot more than I wanted to, for your sake. Like, that's how much I love you, is I played a lot more Sonic than I wanted to. So the first thing I got to say is, and I think it's important, this game is fun. This is a fun game. It's not dumb. It's still playable. Like, you can still go back, and we played it on an Xbox, and it was fun to play.
And that's our episode. We're out. No. All right, what's wrong with it?
But like, but wait, a lot of these games are not playable. You go back and play Super Mario Brothers from 1986 or whatever, it's barely playable.
In terms of how your standards have risen for like, why are his feet falling off the thing? I pressed it right.
And the controls are fluid and they work well. And this game, every Sonic got more and more enamored with its own concept. The first game didn't even understand what being Sonic meant. It just was like, give me
what you mean.
Sonic is predicated on the idea of fluid motion all the way through a level.
Agreed, and I think
you go as fast and as far as you can without stopping.
I think you have to recognize how brilliant that was when you're entering the marketplace with a Mario as like the dominant 2D platformer.
Right.
When you're like, well, 2D platforming is really all we have. What can we show off? We could show off the fact that our screen can scroll so fast that you're like, man, there's so much level. I'm just ripping through this level. It is very satisfying.
Sonic 1 was just a bad Mario clone. Like, it was just a bad...
Where you could move fast, but you got stopped constantly by obstacles.
It wasn't designed to let you be Sonic. Sonic 2, they figured that out, and that's good. Sonic CD, they were like, okay, what if I made Sonic as free as I can imagine him being within the limits of my machine?
Yeah.
And that's why it had to be on a CD. And they did a pretty good job. Like the levels not only were horizontal, they were also vertical in a way that levels are not in that time.
I think they also realized that the like cardinal frustration of the early Sonics are those little quarter pipe lips.
Yeah.
That you're going fast and going fast, and then you just slowly go up them and don't make the curve, and you're like, I'm supposed to be super speed. I can't get up this little fucking thing. And they seem to have tweaked it as the franchise went on, where there were still those building blocks, but you would zip right over them. Like, they got better with the physics, just as Mario did. Super Mario World has perfect physics by the time you're there,
Yeah, in the last, 6 months, I have played Mario, Super Mario 3, Sonic 2, Super Mario World, and
throwback
Sonic C. Well, but I mentioned this because, so you have, a range of how these games were in competition with each other. And Super Mario and Sonic CD.
And a lot of it boils down to the difference between how the sprites land when you jump or move. Yeah.
Sonic CD, to me, is very clearly the most fluid of those games, of all those games. It's nowhere near the best, but it's the most mobile. And Sonic CD invites you to stop caring about navigating this level correctly. That's the thing that's the best about it. Is like Mario games, you gotta run around and make sure that you're navigating every little piece of this right and find the right path. And Sonic CD was like, nope, fuck that. Your job is to go as fast as you
Barrel
can.
ahead. Something cool will happen.
Yes.
A window shop
Don't
will
worry.
shatter from your sheer speed.
Yes.
Something will grab you and shoot you in a different direction. You'll be fine.
You don't have to understand what you're doing in the same way that you do in a Mario game. And it's the only game where I think that's a good idea. Most of the time I think that's
like
dumb.
There's certain rhythm games where I think the focus
Sure.
is on just keep flowing forward, get what you can get. You could always play it again. It's okay. Just get to the end. Yeah. Enjoy the colors and the ride.
When you bought this game the first time, how many times through did you play it?
Once, but it took me weeks to beat.
Wow.
That's what's amazing is as a little kid, I remember it being a fairly lengthy game. And I just realized I suck at video games,
That's interesting. Yeah, because, I'd never played a Sonic game before, ever. Mm-hmm. And again, 3 hours. We were done with it.
Definitely
we bit the whole
within
thing.
3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that you've often said about Sonic as compared to Mario is that Sonic has a more legit narrative.
Yeah.
You've said that.
It's comparing moldy apples and slightly less moldy apples. Like, I don't think either of them have great narratives.
Right.
But I would say, let's put it this way, and I hate to take it back to this over and over again, but this is where a lot of my love for Sonic comes from. And I think it's illuminating, too. Why? If you're a sixth grader, and this is who Sonic's aimed at. If you're a sixth grader and you like to draw, and you draw Spider-Man and shit, Sonic is... Well, you don't draw Mario. He's a middle-aged dude in overalls. Like, he's stupid. He's a doofus. He's dorky. He's like drawing your dad.
Right.
Sonic is cool. And I know that's dumb to say because he's cool in a way that we're all over now. But when Sonic came out, he was extreme, spelled X-Treme, and he was 90s and rad.
Right.
You
He's
could
very
see
90s and
yourself
rad.
going to the skate park with him, doing some paintballing. Again, having some chili dogs and, going real fast. Whereas what is Mario's tone? It's bright and colorful, and there's turtles there, and there's mushrooms there. But, I don't know what it means or what's going on. There's no consistency.
Mario definitely dares to not ever explain what the world is.
Itself at all.
Yeah, the world. There's more information in the first Mario booklet about what's going on with this world than any other place.
Oh my God,
from
that
what I can
egg-spitting
tell.
dinosaur is apparently non-binary gender. You're like, I didn't know
That's
that.
in Mario 2, and that's
It's in the
amazing.
booklet, though.
That's
It's
so
so
good.
funny, yeah.
Sonic dares to have, like Mega Man, a kind of through line, and it's very much influenced by Mega Man. I would say more than Mario almost. Mega Man is a big influence on Sonic, just aesthetically and in terms of how the levels are structured
He's
and
blue.
stuff. It's not just that. It's the
He sure
it's
don't
the-
move fast, Mega Man. He's a slow
No, and he's much harder to navigate.
Can't
than,
duck.
Yeah, but he there's also the sort of the robot enslaving other robots.
Sure.
Just that kind of
Dr.
stuff.
Wiley, Dr. Robotnik? That's
Robotnik is what we settled on
We
eventually.
feared Russians at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah. Still in the 90s, even though the Berlin Wall was down.
Yep.
Sonic dares to have a more consistent through line of what the world is. So let's acknowledge that,
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of who cares, right? It's still
In the
kind of who
sense
cares.
that why does he want gold rings? Why do they give him life? Why do they come out of televisions?
Right.
A lot of that stuff is neither here nor there, but I would argue less so than Mario takes license with it. And that's a matter of taste, because in both cases, you're not playing it for the world building. So really, does it matter that Sonic has slightly more consistency than Mario? You'd think I say yeah, but probably not. It
Thank you.
probably doesn't matter.
Thank you. So now that you've acknowledged that,
You walked me in the corner where now it's gameplay versus gameplay, and Sonic can't win. In
it's
that
not even
arena.
just that. It's also you've conceded a very important point, and that is
I'll never concede that he's cooler.
Sonic-
That's an important point.
Sonic has a quote unquote universe that's a little more consistent, but it doesn't really matter. And because of that, its world is worse than Mario's, because it doesn't matter enough to justify what you're doing. Whereas Mario's like, we don't care. We don't give a shit. It's a fucking weird, mushroom, fantasy or whatever. So they went way further
Feather
and way
makes
more
you
creatively.
raccoon. Raccoon flies.
Right.
Why? Doesn't matter.
None of it matters. So they went way further creatively, way earlier than Sonic ever did. Like Super Mario 3 is better as a creative journey than anything in any Sonic that I've played.
You haven't played Sonic 3.
Is that
which
the
I
one
think has
matches it?
There's an aspect of it that I think would very much appeal to you and did appeal to me.
I
and
bet.
makes me want to make you play it even though you've already played several. That is very Mario-esque, which is that in Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles, I believe. Maybe I'm thinking of Sonic 3 plugged into the Sonic & Knuckles cartridge, but
I think that is a really cool innovation.
that is cool. But they finally caught on to the idea that powers should change the nature of the loop. So
Yes.
Tails can straight up fly. That affects how you navigate the level. Knuckles can climb any vertical wall like
Yes.
Mega Man, but he can't run or fly. That changes how you... okay, so then in Sonic 3, the one you haven't played, and then they removed it, so you've never experienced this, and it's very akin to Mario or Mega Man, there are different types of shields, and they really would give you different powers that greatly affected the outcomes, and I don't know why they eased off on that. Because it's like they discovered they should be ripping Mario off more, and then they backed off. Because you could
that's why.
You could get a fire shield and become a fireball and navigate the level as a fireball. You could get an electric shield, which would suck rings and items in.
Yeah, no, you and I played this a
You
little
could
bit.
get a water shield where you had a smash attack exactly like
We
Mario
did this.
has.
We did this a little bit.
I think
you and I played a little bit
in
of this.
Sonic Mania, I turned on... Sonic Mania
That's
is
what
like
you
a
did. Yeah,
fan-made
yeah.
compilation of everything you could possibly want.
Yeah.
So I played my favorite level with cool shields turned on. But Sonic 3 introduced those, and they're, non-optional. They're the focus of the game.
Okay.
So I think where Nintendo seems to pull ahead is that, and this is cross-franchise, not just Mario, Nintendo realizes the aspect of games that are toys, and you have to invent a new toy. Like, it should be different interactively than your last toy. And Sega wasn't as quick to pick up on that, but I do think as Sonic progresses, they get on the bandwagon. Because 3 has these shields that change everything, and then CD takes those away and has past, present, future. That's a total reinvention.
That's a cool idea.
Their next one was Sonic Spinball. That's a total reinvention.
But it isn't. It isn't. So I want to step in. So the reason I'm making you revisit what you said about how the narrative doesn't matter that much is because Mario is not beholden to ever explain what they do anywhere. Mm-hmm. They are allowed to create new experiences constantly, and they do.
Yeah.
Sonic, it feels to me, and I know this is like a little bit mean-spirited, and it's okay. Sonic to me feels like a more cynical franchise because it's about cranking them out and getting sales, and the games are not that different.
You don't think there's executives at Nintendo?
Of course I think that.
The main thing that comes out of their mouth is, where's the next Mario?
Of course.
Quarter 4 is coming up.
Of
money,
course.
money, money.
But my argument would be they don't release a Mario platformer unless that thing's pristine.
Mario Sunshine.
Mario Sunshine is better than any Sonic game, and I'll take anyone on for that. Anyone.
Sonic Adventure, the first 3D Sonic, which cannot top Mario 64 because they made the jump into 3D first and they did it beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Also makes the transition beautifully. So while I'm not arguing this makes Sonic better than Mario, Sonic Adventure is better than Mario Sunshine. But it's like...
I'll play that and see if I agree.
It came like 8 years later, so, I don't know how much credit to give it. But.
I can't imagine I will agree with that, but fair enough.
It's
I don't think
impressive.
Sunshine is good. I think it's above average for a video game, or like pretty good for a video game.
I thought it was quite a slog, but that's just me. Whereas I thought Sonic Adventure, I just think you might appreciate how, in the same way that you're amazed Mario 64 is able to maintain what makes Mario Mario,
right? So
did Sonic Adventure. Like, they didn't fuck up.
Sure,
you're in a 3D world, and yet flowing forward is really important and easy, and that's fun.
And I'm not here to steal that from Sonic. I'm just saying that Mario in general is not really like they. Okay, so maybe Sunshine was a bad idea, but they didn't think it was a cash grab.
No.
They didn't release it as a cash grab. They're like, they worked for years on it to make it good, and they just were wrong.
And the gameplay mechanic eventually spun off into Splatoon, I think is pretty obvious.
For sure.
So, like, for them, developing that game mechanic was still useful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, again, how many... If you take out Galaxy, because it's not exactly the same kind of gameplay, like, they've only made 3 Mario games since 1996. In 22 years, they've made 3 Mario games.
You're not counting Odyssey?
Odyssey's the third.
You're not counting... Okay, you're only counting platformers then, like Raving Rabbids.
Well, right. I mean, I'm not saying Mario Tennis. That shit's totally cynical. Like, nobody's saying putting Mario in every little like game idea they have is not cynical. It's absolutely
Sonic
cynical.
versus Mario in the 2012 Olympics.
That's cynical too. I think that's cynical. But the problem is that the Sonic franchise in the 90s was about cranking out the platform experience over and over and over. And they made like 5 of them in 5 or 6 years.
Which is ironic because it's wrapped in the punk ethos, which is
Right.
like not about cranking shit out
but
that
it's
you don't care
totally
about.
corporate and cynical in that way. And that's a bummer when you go back and play because you can see that. The other thing is, and I want to unpack this that I said, is I believe that Sonic, the fundamental idea of it was that Sega is very beholden to arcade games. Like Sega really cares about arcades.
Sure.
That's where a lot of their ideas came from. And I believe that Sonic was inspired by pinball. I believe that. Because
Golden
it's everywhere.
Axe, Altered Beast. I mean,
Yeah.
these were their big money makers before the Edge of
And
consoles.
They were all arcade
Arcade.
ports.
First, yeah.
And we're going to talk about that in some other format, I
Right.
think. Sonic was the first time they found a good port of a thing that they loved culturally.
Sonic was never an arcade game, by the way.
I know.
Okay.
They loved culturally pinball in the arcade system, and you could see that all over all over the platforms they had.
Yeah.
Sonic was the first time they merged that into a franchise, an idea.
You
but then
really
they
opened my
only
eyes to
exploited
that.
it.
There's even a pachinko feel to
Yeah.
a lot of Sonic. Yeah.
Like the things that throw you in the air, that launch you up and down, or the sound effects. It's all
well,
pinball.
and there's literally pinball flippers in
Right.
many of the levels.
It's all pinball inspired
Yeah.
because that's like what's the
And you're a
fastest thing
ball.
in gaming? Yeah,
You're a
a
ball.
ball.
Yeah.
And that's like what a good idea. Like that's a super good idea. And that's why I liked Sonic CD, but it bums me out that you never became more than that. You never became more than a pinball.
More than a ball.
More than a pinball.
Less than a man, but more than a ball.
But they attempted to fix this with other characters, but didn't really fix it. You know?
You became a modified ball. Like Knuckles is a ball that is sticky when he hits surfaces. He sticks to them, but he's still
Right.
a pinball. Sure.
Right.
But couldn't you argue that that's staying true to the core of the franchise?
I would argue that the core of the franchise is too restricted. You know, that's what I would argue.
So, like, Sonic may be a great idea. They should only have 2 games because that's how much legs a pinball-based game has.
I think that if you just had made Sonic 2 and Sonic CD, you would have experienced everything that was important about Sonic. That's it.
You say that as someone who hasn't played every Sonic game, which I have to harp
But I
on
don't.
'cause
But it
it's
doesn't matter.
accurate.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No,
You said this before on the show.
Wait,
It matters whether you have played something if you're going to pass judgment on it. Yes,
But-
it does.
Look, dude, you and I are never going to play every fucking video game that
No.
exists. We're not going to do that.
Right.
So there's an amount of like I've seen enough to have an opinion about this. Now, if there's some other thing that I super don't know about that like changes everything in these other Sonic games, okay. But I flipped through them since we talked.
Okay.
And I didn't think they were.
That's just what I'd argue, and not just
Yeah.
about Sonic, but a lot of franchises.
I know.
As we go from 2D to 3D, and there's other like key crisis points in video game development,
Right.
it is a whole new experience. Like if you haven't played Sonic Adventure, you really can't judge any of the Sonic Adventures because it's different than every other Sonic game. It's
I've
very
played
different.
a level.
Sure.
So not enough. I'll give you that. But like,
No, you could get a feel for it in one. Like I'm not even
I didn't
demanding
think it was
you-
great. I thought it was
Okay.
fine. You know, but other people really fervently care about
Sure.
it. And I think,
But
well, I
my
don't want to
point
totally
is,
dismiss that.
If someone had only played Mario games since Mario 64, I would still tell them, you can't really speak on Super Mario World. Go play it.
Totally different. Sure.
Yeah.
Totally different. That's fair. When Sonic branches out into a new
Dimension.
then I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so I've harped on that. So now I want to talk about I want to talk about what's really fucking going on in Sonic. Like what's really going on there. So like you tell me what the premise as you understand it of Sonic.
My interpretation
Yeah.
is that you are a sentient. Like there's
Sentient hedgehog.
There's a cartoon island that exists in Zootopia universe.
Yeah.
I'm already don't understand. You're right, because then why are all the other woodland creatures normal woodland
Why are
creatures?
they normal creatures?
But anyway, that aside, hopping over that for now,
right.
you're a creature who can talk. You never talk, but I imagine
But you're clearly conscious.
you're
as a-
conscious.
yeah.
That's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
You wear socks and shoes,
Right.
so there's something going on
to help the running.
in the old noggin.
Yeah.
And
gloves. You wear
and
gloves.
you live like a human, like you live standing on 2 feet in a house and shit. So I imagine you're sentient. It's basically it's the age old thing, man. Of industry versus hedgehog, the classic literary trope. The industrial wave of industrialization finally reaches your island, which is represented by a doctor who rides around in a flying machine with a robotic airship and turns everything into robots.
Right.
You can imagine, because he's cramming plants and animals inside robots, that he's somehow sucking the power out of them, Matrix style.
Right.
That's the conclusion I leapt to, even as an 8-year-old.
Right.
And as a sentient hedgehog, you're like, fuck that. This is my island. I owe it to these creatures to break the robots and let them all out.
I think there's two potential narratives here.
Also, there's magic emeralds.
Right. I think there's two potential narratives here. One of them is that Sonic the Hedgehog is God. So Sonic the Hedgehog...
God.
Yes. Sonic has created a world that manifests his particular passion for speed. And in that world is a robot doctor who is only trying to understand and harness the power of God.
Oh, you're saying, why is this island that was in a state of nature, why does it have ramps and loops and shit?
And
right?
what
That's
is
hard
it?
to explain.
But also, why is Sonic conscious? And like, you're going to be like, why are we doing this? We don't do it to Mario. Mario's a person who could be in a fucking drug trip. That's an acceptable explanation. I need a reason why Sonic is a conscious being.
Sonic's a furry who's on a fucking drug trip on vacation.
Sonic
in the
is not
Caribbean.
a costume or an outfit. Sonic is a being.
You have such different standards for Nintendo than you apply to Sega.
No, I don't.
You just pointed out your own hypocrisy about Mario.
I did not.
Go ahead.
I did
Go
not.
ahead.
Thank you. Robotnik's sin is to try to harness and understand the power of this being, and Sonic's modus operandi is basically to constantly recreate a normal island. Like, basically, I want this island to be my island the way that the way I want it.
Yeah.
And Robotnik's like,
Grass
but what
and
if I
trees and no other form of sentience.
right? But what if I understood it and tried to recreate it? And Sonic's like, you can never have that. And that's like what this is about.
Man,
that's number one.
I want to see a game where you play as Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah.
The Earth is dying.
Right.
And there's this mystical island where all you have to do is like beat this stupid hedgehog and the world could be saved.
It seems clear to me that like Sonic is not sharing his omnipotent world creating power, and that Robotnik has had to use all the resources of the world that you don't see.
He's an industrialist
to get there.
But it's fun. I think you're supposed to believe. You're right. They want it both ways. You're supposed to feel on the emotional level that it's like Bambi or an early Disney movie. Sonic is the sweet woodland creature that's minding their own business, and society comes in and wrecks the forest. Isn't that sad? But it's kind of hard to have it both ways, where you're like, but if he's as sentient as a human, what was he doing before? What's his agenda? What's his system?
I just can't. There's no world that I can understand where, well, I have the second option, where Sonic didn't make the place he lives.
Because it's so uniquely shaped to his mode of locomotion?
Has to be.
Okay.
And where his consciousness where his consciousness isn't a thing that's an omnipotent power.
So why in Mario are there glowing blocks that levitate when you hit them coins come out?
That, I believe, you could fundamentally say Mario is on some kind of weird drug trip.
It all can be explained. That's not their intention, though.
But
I think you have to judge
Mario
an artistic, like a narrative based on what they meant.
Well, nobody intended Sonic to be a divine being. I'm reading that into it.
All right.
I'm saying on its own terms, this is what it is. What did I admit?
No, I don't. So that's what I'm saying is I don't think you're taking it on its own terms. On its own terms, he's Bambi. And Dr. Robotnik's the big bad hunter, and you're not supposed to think about it beyond that.
Of course not. This is what we do for a living, man. So the other... I know. The other possibility is that Sonic is actually a creation of Robotnik. Like Mega Man.
Then who's Mecha Sonic?
His attempt to recreate it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that Robotnik created one Sonic. Like, there's a few of them that he got right, and they rebelled, right? And so now he's trying to, well, I can't make life, like organic life again. Like, so Robotnik is God in this
The robot's
equation.
more controllable.
Correct. The robot won't rebel against me and try to destroy what I made. And, like the proverbial mythical Adam.
Okay, so Sonic's an abomination. He's like a homunculus that never should have been.
Or Sonic is, Sonic is like literally like humanity, in that rebelled against his creator and is trying to destroy his creator
to give himself meaning or primacy in the world.
Because otherwise, what? is it? You know what I mean? Like what? Okay, so taking those readings aside, what really is Sonic? Did they give anything? Nothing.
This is exactly what politicians do that I hate, but my brain just keeps going back to, well, fuck Mario. Like I'm evading all your questions because I'm like,
yeah.
Then
but the emails, but Mario's emails.
But
yeah.
Mario attacked Benghazi and nothing was done. Nothing was done.
Mario had his own server. Why did he have his own server?
But Mario, especially in Mario Tennis, he had his own server. God damn it, Michael.
Yeah.
I just lost the whole episode. But why? So how can you interpret Mario Brothers as anything other than a stranger, possibly on drugs, fell through some pipes? He wants to capture this woman he just met.
It's getting very difficult. It's getting very difficult not to see Mario as a predator by 2018's moral standards.
Which
it's
is
getting
funny
difficult
because Nintendo's just doing the same thing they do with Zelda. It's just the same cycle again. It's just not aging well.
Right. Their attempts to fix it are also becoming problematic. They did that in Odyssey, and it was like, I didn't like this. That
Breath of the Wild did a little better job.
Yeah.
They did the Adventure Time thing where they're like, yeah, she's a princess, but she's also a science princess.
Right. She's
out there on
and
the
a deliberator.
ground getting shit done.
She has what you might call a character.
Yeah.
You know, and
by
the other ones
Nintendo
don't.
standards.
Yeah, she has a character. You can't take that away from her.
I can't take it away. I can just argue that Nintendo on par has very sparsely drawn characters.
Okay.
And that's their choice.
So, next question for you. For you, the Sonic fan. Why? What's Tails' name again?
Tails miles per hour.
No, it's Miles Tails per hour, right?
You got me off my Sonic game, man. Yes, I know that.
Okay.
It's Miles
Why
Tails
does he
per
have
hour.
a name?
Because Fox Sidekick is stupid. Why does Toad have a name? Why does Yoshi have a name?
Those are all in tone. With that universe.
Sonic's
name
fast.
is Sonic's name
miles
is
per hour means going
No.
fast.
I'm not talking about why is it a pun. I'm talking about Sonic's name is Sonic the Hedgehog. Why does Tails have a human name?
Oh, like he should be Two Tails the Fox
Yes.
or something. I see.
Like, it makes me think, was he captured? Was he made into this?
Knuckles' official name is Knuckles the Echidna.
What's his last name?
The Echidna. That's the animal he is. Knuckles the Echidna.
Okay.
So you're right. I'm agreeing that Miles is the odd one out.
What the fuck's going on with Tails?
Well, he has two tails also.
Fine. Something's wrong with Tails.
No, I mean, like, this supports your theory that Dr. Robotnik is... This is the Isle of Dr. Moreau.
Right.
If the creatures were like, hey, I can wear shoes. I'm fast. That's all we need to know. Let's kill Dr. Moreau.
Right. I feel like Tails got out before the assimilation was complete and, like, retained his name.
Yeah.
Like, retained his two tails.
Okay, so Sonic, he grew from nothing. Like, from a normal animal intelligence hedgehog.
Correct.
Didn't work.
Right.
So then he kidnaps a human named Miles.
Yes. I'm going to make that into something.
Make it into a fox.
Right.
That doesn't work. And he's like, now I need Mecha Sonic.
Yeah.
That's
and
how
now
we
when you
end
think
up.
about it, Sonic freeing all those animals is just preventing himself from having friends or from... Like, it's preventing the possibility of future Sonics. What he's doing is he's crushing all other potential Sonics so that he alone is Sonic.
He's the new form of life that dares to say, I am the next stage of evolution.
Yes.
You shall not pass me.
I'm Mewtwo, motherfucker.
So it's
like, that's
in my
it.
rights to kill everyone
That's
because
correct.
I'm the one who should
There can
ascend.
never be another Sonic. I'm the Sonic.
And you don't think that's cooler than Mario? You're making him cooler and cooler all the time.
I don't know. I don't think like
eating
mad
chili
power
dogs,
is cool.
Being the Highlander with his dick full on hanging out. This dude doesn't give a fuck.
I think the best thing...
He's blue.
The very best thing about Sonic, period, is that Sonic created the idea of a character from a weight animation, which is now such a staple in video games. And I know it's like a small thing.
You mean him tapping his foot
Yes,
is his
that's
most
huge.
important contribution?
Yes, I think so. Yes, because it tells you it's the first time that they A, did that in video games. B, they created so much, isn't it?
Did you ever play Starflight?
Was that before
Amazing
Sonic?
Genesis game before Sonic 1. I highly, highly recommend it. Really robust, like universe, procedurally generated universe to explore, which is impressive for that generation.
Totally.
Basically a Star Trek clone. Go around talking to aliens, learning shit, being diplomatic, sometimes fighting. But every time you return to your home base, you're a little astronaut walking around in the space station to go to the different departments. And if you don't press anything, the astronaut taps their foot and looks at their watch. That's the first time I ever saw that.
Oh, that sucks.
And I was blown away.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
I'm so bummed to hear that because I thought that Sonic, that was a unique thing to Sonic, and
Sure.
it created so much character, like a lot of character
And all
from a very
3D
small
characters
thing.
do something now
Yeah.
if you let them sit.
But they all do
Earthworm
this.
Jim had amazing ones.
Yeah, they mostly all do the same things though.
Sure.
Like Sonic spawned a bunch of like literally quoting him.
Look at camera and shrug.
Right.
Like,
What
did
are we
you
doing,
stop
man?
playing? Yeah.
Yeah, Mario started to fall asleep in Mario 64, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But Sonic's was the first time it had a lot of character. It fit.
Yep.
It was like, yep, you nailed that.
He's
And
Deadpool to a
that's-
small degree.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he's aware that he's a video game character and you're playing him.
And he likes to go fast. Why
Yeah.
aren't we going fast?
Yeah. I think that one of the best things in the history of gaming is losing your rings. Like just the most memorable thing.
It's so dissatisfying
Yes.
in a weird way.
It's so like, God damn it. And like just
In a
the
perfect
burst
way.
of the rings.
that doesn't wear off. And I do
yeah.
think that tiny micro moment of experience is better than the Mario thing. Where
Definitely.
you're like, I have coins or I don't have coins.
Definitely.
I'm big or I'm not big. That binary feeling. I love fighting a boss in Sonic where you're like, as long as I can keep recapturing that one coin,
Right.
I'm immortal. Oh, it fell off. I'm dead in a second. Yeah.
I think that is that's a cool, unique to Sonic function.
Yeah.
I like better that Mario gets powers. I like that
Distinct
better.
powers is something
Yeah.
I cannot top. It's a good thing, and we all rip it off for a reason.
And everybody loves and remembers the first, 10 years of Nintendo when Mario's like, gets shrunk. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I like I like the losing the rings thing. I think that's
Yeah.
cool. It works and it's fun. And Sonic is entirely unforgiving with spikes. You fucking see a spike, you better get the hell away from
Those
it.
spikes are rough.
They are crazy.
And the designers will do a thing that seems counter to the purpose of the game.
Yes.
Where they're like, here's a thing that shoots you ahead a million miles an hour, which is why this game is fun. We put spikes horizontally just out of screen,
Yep.
ruining any fun you could
Yep.
have with this thing.
They
we put
did do
here.
that a lot. Sonic's jump ability really sucks. Like he's just really not good at jumping.
But he's the running.
The running is so beautiful. He runs so fast, but his jumping
Run
sucks.
like a hedgehog to the sea. Yeah,
I feel like
Blue Hawks can't jump. I'm okay admitting that.
I've said what
Yeah.
I needed to say about
Mario
this.
can jump. and
Mario's
fly
the best
on
at
occasion,
jumping. Yeah,
but all he can really do walk-wise is waddle a bit.
he runs.
He runs crappy.
Not like Sonic, sure.
Ooh, okay, we got to get to our last checkpoint, but first, because you brought it up, I do want to ask,
Yeah.
or is that your answer? Platforming franchises overall, or let's say the best one. You know what I mean? You don't have to average out the whole history.
Where does this land?
Who's your favorite? No. Who do you think has the most satisfying, like, jumping, landing, being crisp? You think it's Mario?
Absolutely
It's the tightest
Mario.
platformer
Absolutely.
pro tag ever?
No doubt.
I think it's Jack from Jack and Daxter, but we'll have to talk about that on a different episode.
I'm sure that's good. I'm sure it is. Mario is the gold standard for all of that.
Thanks to legacy, yeah.
And thanks to being good.
And quality. That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, the standard had to come first, but that doesn't mean no one ever improves upon the standard.
Agreed.
Ooh,
I
that's a
haven't-
good question, though. I'm racking my brain for more because I love platformers.
I wish we had more of them. It just feels like Mario so thoroughly took over that market that nobody makes them anymore.
Yeah, the guys who made Banjo-Kazooie tried to come back with
Yeah.
Ukulele. It sucks ass.
Okay, I
It's
didn't
very
play it.
disappointing.
I liked Banjo-Kazooie.
Me too.
I think it was like a pretty good game series. Like the
Donkey
first
Kong
couple-
Country is still underrated.
It's clunky though.
It feels clunky because
Yeah.
you can't jump far, but I would argue that the levels are designed for that length of jump.
Like
So it's not a problem.
Sure. I like Rayman. I think Rayman is designed.
Fuck, you're right.
You know?
Rayman Origins has the best platforming handling of all time.
No, but I think it's really good. I think it's really
hey, you
good.
brought it up, dude.
I said I liked it.
Yeah, it is.
And I do.
It's phenomenal.
I think Rayman's very good. I far be it from me to
Not the
banish
Raving
Rayman.
Rabbids ones, the 2D scrolling ones are masterpieces.
Yeah,
Legends
real
and
good.
Origins. Yeah.
Real
We'll
good.
so good that I'm sure we'll cover them.
I think we should cover at least the most recent Rayman.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because they have glaring gaming innovations that we haven't mentioned. And we're
Yeah,
not
and they're
going to
really
mention
cool.
them because we should save them for that episode. But let's pass that final checkpoint and get to where the rubber meets the road. If you're a hedgehog made out of rubber. What? Keep or delete is the name of the segment. I was trying to do something about him being faster than a car, but it didn't pan out.
Yeah, not really. You answer this.
Delete.
Really? Are you keeping a Sonic?
I can't just blindly keep every Sonic because I feel like I would lose too much credibility.
You really would.
So I'm going to keep, spoiler alert, but we may never cover them because we've said a lot about Sonic and it's not the deepest game of all time.
No.
I'd probably keep Sonic and Knuckles. Or if we're allowed to say like things that aren't even in the franchise but are assembled later by fans, I truly think Sonic Mania is the best Sonic game that's ever come out.
I'm sure it is.
Because once you know what Sonic is, like you said, it doesn't matter if the world gets changed because who cares? You're just playing these speed runs. So the idea that in Sonic Mania you can go in and say, yeah, I want to be Knuckles. I don't want Tails there. Give me the fire shields are on, but this is off. That shit is just, that's what I want. That's the end game of Sonic.
I believe that a game coming out in a historical context does matter. We've had debates about that. I don't think Sonic Mania is a real Sonic game.
A real game. And I saw that coming.
Yeah.
But
Otherwise, sure, of course it's the best.
then I'd keep Sonic and Knuckles.
Okay. I would delete this game. I would only keep, if I'm going to keep a Sonic, which I'm not sure, I would keep 2. But I wouldn't. Sonic the character matters a lot in the history of video gaming. Sonic the flying through loop-de-loops matters in video gaming. The games are fine. They're like fine to... Sonic C is pretty good. Sonic 2 is pretty good. But they're not amazing at all. None of them are amazing, in my opinion. Maybe if I was younger when I played them first, I would think they're incredible, but I don't.
There's Mario 1 and 2, in my opinion, so stuff it.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
But 3 and Super Mario World are 2 of the best games ever made.
Yeah. I didn't say that. I said the stupid turnip yanking one is just fine.
Yeah, that's because it's not really a Mario game.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a Die Hard script that was repurposed.
It really was.
Mario game.
That is right.
All right, so delete my favorite character of all time.
Sorry, buddy.
You can find my drawings of Sonic the Hedgehog available online.
You handled this very maturely. You really did.
It's only because you tired me out with 2 recordings before this. I would have been a lot more ornery if we hadn't already recorded 2 today.
What if we'd had to do this and the Fallout New Vegas episode? You know what I mean? Because originally that's what we planned to do. Can you imagine how difficult your day would have been?
Fallout New Vegas didn't bother me as much as I think you thought it would.
No,
because you came in with a thing that seems like a depth charge, which is your observation that it's almost more fun as a text adventure or a series of interrelated spreadsheets. And what's funny is that doesn't offend me because I love spreadsheets and text as a writer. So I was like, you know what? You're right. A text adventure Fallout New Vegas would be fucking amazing.
But you know what? That's that. I mean, and I don't mean to be too.
I don't think that's an insult.
I know. I don't mean to be too sweet or nice. That speaks to your character because you can admit to that and be like, "You're right. That is true." And I'm like, "Okay, great."
Okay,
that's
great.
Yeah. I think you're being very mature about the Sonic CD thing. If you had said I'm not gonna, if you had said I'm going to delete Super Mario 3. Or like you said, I'm going to delete Halo Combat Evolved.
We've
Still
only
bananas.
covered Odyssey. That's right. That's all.
And
Mario
you kept it.
covered.
And you should have.
I'm sure we'll cover a 2D Mario at some point.
We
but
have
not
to.
Yet.
Yeah. We have
Probably World. I mean, it's the one I always. It's like Jurassic Park. I just always would be willing to play through Super Mario World.
We
again.
should play that and 3 and see which one you want to play or want to talk about.
Okay. I mean, I played them both multiple times, but
I think when you play them next to each other,
sure.
you get more opinions about which one you like better and why.
Ooh. Do you think Mario 3 is secretly better, or are you not willing to state that?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think that. But I did.
But we'll dig into it later.
I think it's more creative, though.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's that. Our friendship is repaired. So this episode will be titled Adam and Mike Were Fighting, I guess. Turned into a real love fest.
I hope it warms the hearts of our listeners to know that we do occasionally get together as like mid-30s men and play Sonic games.
Probably.
For your listening enjoyment.
I bet they love that.
Yeah.
They're fucking nerds.
Yeah.
Work complete. This has been a Small Beans endeavor. We're a bunch of pals who make podcasts, sketches, music, web series, and movies. The beans always have new ideas percolating, so make sure to check us out at patreon.com/smallbeans. That's patreon.com/smallbeans, where you can browse all of our current and past content, see what we've got planned in the future, and learn how your support can help the small beans grow into huge, giant monster beans. If you enjoyed this content module, please like, rate, subscribe, or tell a friend about us. We love you!